This was one of the first ones I made because my friend, giraffes are her favorite animal, so I made hers. Part of the skill is knowing like how long to bake something, for how thick it is, and how thick to make it so it won't break. But I'm always like, I'm gonna go play with clay now. And that means to my boyfriend, leave me alone for a few hours, please. Okay. I'm Becky Gibson, and I'm a polymer clay artist, and this is the layered onion. So polymer clay is, it's a plastic. These are colored, it's colored plastic suspended in plasticizer, and it makes it kind of squishy and moldable, and you can warm it up, and that gets the plasticizers moving, and it helps so you can turn it into a funky shape, or maybe a little dolphin, if you can use your imagination. And then when you bake it or cure it, you bake it in an oven, and that solidifies everything. So then you can drill into it, you can paint it, you can chop parts of it off and stick it on other pieces. So it's a really versatile product when it's raw or cured. So this is called a cane.
Okay.
And then you slice it, as thin or thick as you want. And you get, 400, maybe 50 pieces out of this guy. Okay. And then you can put them all together. And then
so how did you do the little ones below? Was that a smaller cane?
Oh, yeah. Yep. That was one of these guys. Oh. So this was that little guy. Yeah.
Well, that's beautiful.
And I've started using Procreate on my iPad to figure out color, what colors go together, and does the shape work? So, and then these 3 pieces are just cutouts. I had played with polymer as a kid. This Sculpey is one of the brands, and they've been around for many years. And there's other brands like Fimo is one that's popular in the UK. There's a couple other brands that you get used to, and they have different textures and different qualities. So I was a kid, and an impatient only child. And I think my stint with polymer clay was probably about a week or 2 long, but my mom remembers it being longer. And then fast forward to, it's probably 3 years ago. It does sort of tie to when I stopped drinking, actually. Now that I think back, it didn't occur to me until today. So I stopped in January. It'll be 3 years. I got, anxious, tired. I work on computers all the time, and I wanted to get away from screens. So in my home office, I just spin around, and my studio is on the other side, and I can go back and forth. So if I get done with a meeting and I need to, not decompress, but think about it for a while, I can spin around and fuss with some clay, and because it's not solid until it's cured, I could work on the same piece for days or weeks. So it fed my need for immediate gratification, and it was also something I could set down and come back to. So this is my little giraffe. And he's got a leaf in his mouth. This was one of the first ones I made because my friend, giraffes are her favorite animal, so I made hers some Christmas tree ornaments. And this has got a coating. You can see that's super shiny. That's got a UV resin coating, which I've later found out that is not very good to inhale. So I stopped using it. And I don't know, it makes it look, it is a plastic, but it makes it look more plastic, I think. So that's that little guy. Being internet savvy, I decided to set up a website. So I did a WooCommerce store, and and that's what I do for a living. And I just don't really like doing it for myself. So, you got to upload that. You got to take all the pictures, you got to upload the images, and you got to write something about it and decide what you're going to charge for it and all this very boring stuff. And I just want to play with clay, but I decided I need to fund it somehow. I mean, the clay isn't that expensive. This block is like $3, but then you got all the tools and like I have a specific air fryer in my office that I use just for baking these things. So it adds up. I haven't made any money on it this year. I've been spending a lot of money on classes and learning from different polymer clay artists that have been doing this for 30 years. But last year I did a holiday craft fair and made more than 3 times more than I needed to cover the booth fee and the table and all the stuff I had to buy. So that was I'm not in the black, but I made more than I thought I was gonna.
Yeah.
So this is a pendant that like each of these little dots was cut off of a cane and placed with a pin, a sewing needle or whatever. And then there's different layers and there's some paint in there. Then there's this backing. And then I try to put my logo on every piece, which is that little silver, copper guy. So this is the bail for the piece. If I dropped it like right there, that could break off. But part of the skill is knowing like how long to bake something for how thick it is and how thick to make it so it won't break. But it's things like that where I'm always learning like, that's not going to work. Go back to the drawing board or, wear it for a day to see if that's still going to work as a piece. But I bet I could drop it. It won't break.
Let's not.
Okay. Because anything can make texture in this medium, I look at stuff differently. Like walking through the hardware store, those screws or bolts that are, that are like this long, you could take that and, roll it over the clay in a different way and then paint it with silver paint and it looks like metal. Or, I'm not gonna be able to think of another example right now, but, stuff you can shove in the clay, like lots of hardware kind of things. I just look at objects and textures differently. Like I want to replicate the carpet at Vintage across the street because it's this cool like tan and blue mosaic tile. Or I just like looking at surfaces and how they appear and wanting to replicate that. This guy is this is that mica shift that I was talking about. So this is a silver, and then from the back side you press with a ball tool to get these little bumps, and then you add a backing, and then your pendant hangs like that. It's shiny. I think I could. I mean, whether or not it would be something sustainable for a full-time job, I don't know. But I've been working with a coach sort of group of women that meet, and playing is one of my priorities, one of my goals. So I've made more time for it and delegated and shifted responsibility for household chores and just so I can spend a day 2 or 3 times a month in my clay office. This is another one of those sort of 3D beads. This pattern effect is called Makumegane, which is, I can't remember what it's what it act the Japanese. That is the Japanese for. It's like shaved metal, I think is what it's. I don't know if you've seen those Japanese butcher knives or paring knives where they're all modeled. That's that technique where you layer the clay. So you've got pink, brown, white, and like mint green. I call this I'm not gonna remember what the not spanakopita, the spumoni ice cream. Spumoni plus mint. So you layer it really thin layers and then you press into it. So like you get all your tools out and you make indentations and then you slice it very thinly. And because you've pressed the clay into the layers, you get this like surprise look. Yeah. It is a lot like meditation, I think. I'm not very good at sitting still and I'm not very good at meditation, but when I'm working on clay, I could do that for actually Saturday this last weekend. I spent 8 hours straight and I didn't realize that I had spent the entire day on that side of my studio. And I came up with a pair of earrings and it was amazing. And I was like, I wish I could do that all the time. But I'm always like, I'm going to go play with clay now. And that means to my boyfriend, leave me alone for a few hours, please. And so this is a Bargello clay technique where you create strips and then you offset them. And then that makes a sheet. And then you cut the shape out of that sheet. And then you create this bead. So the whole bead, so you can see it's concave and it's kind of thick. This is what I learned in one of the classes. Dan Cormier is the Canadian artist. So that's one of the classes I learned how to building better beads, it's called. Yeah, so that's cool. These are little, like funky flowers, and they have a adjustable band because I didn't want to get into worrying about what ring sizes people want. And so this is some cutout shapes and kind of mushed up, and then I painted them with black acrylic and then wiped away the surface so that it's stayed in the crevices. Thank you. Yeah, so I've got a bunch of those too. It would be really great if it could be at least halftime or more of my concerted effort, whatever that means. If I can do what I do on the side still and do my art 50% of the time, I think that'd be a goal. That'd be a 5 to 10 year goal. Yeah. I'm Becky Gibson, and I'm a polymer clay artist, and this is The Layered Onion.